UFC 322 just recently wrapped up. I'm going to recap the entire card. In the main event, we saw Islam Makhachev dominate Jack Della Maddalena to claim the welterweight throne. Co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko defended the women's flyweight belt against challenger, former strawweight champ, Weili Zhang in a one-sided affair. We're going to talk about the whole card from fight number one all the way up to the main event. So without further ado, let's jump right into things. First fight was Vyacheslav Borshchev versus Matheus Camilo. I was really happy. And Matheus Camilo won. He was leg one of the Lock City parlay. So if you're into that type of thing, you follow that element of the channel, you knew we needed him. And there was moments where he didn't look great on the feet. Times a little lackluster, but hitting key takedowns, 5 out of 10 takedowns, 3 minutes, 22 seconds of control time, and catching Slava with some decent punches. It comes together for Camilo. But I will say, I was disappointed as somebody that thought Camilo maybe had a bit of a higher ceiling. Yeah, the win against Borshchev wasn't great. It was 30-27, but it looked closer than that. I thought it could have been 29-28. Slava had some striking moments. Camilo was showing some obvious signs of fatigue, and I think his gas tank is a bit of a red flag. Definitely when he lets it go, he has a bit of pop and some hand speed, but I don't know, man. He's got like a limited amount of burst he can do, and he really was – I don't want to say he was holding back, right? But he was trying to conserve energy and like circling and backing away and allowing Borshchev to press. Still was able to hit some key punches and takedowns, enough so to secure a lopsided win on the judges' scorecards. And for God's sake, I mean, Slava's 8-7-1 as a pro now. I mean, he's over with for the UFC. I think Slava's on his way out. I think Slava is on his way into karate combat. I think that's probably a way better option for him. I hope that Karate Combat signs him. I think that's actually a really good idea. Matheus Camilo looked, okay. I don't think he's going to be making a top 15 run. I don't care that he's just 24. I tell it as I see it. I feel as though his wrestling game is all right. Striking game, he's got pop, but he's not sensational with stringing shots together. Doesn't have the best defense either. Slava was just kind of like pointing, shotting him, not trying to put any pop on his strikes and not really committing to big combos. It didn't make any sense from Slava Claus, honestly. He didn't look like he was trying to win either. And Matheus Camilo hit some key takedowns, but the gas tank looked shitty. And I still worry about some quit in him after that Gabe Green fight. And then in this one, certain moments still dug out a tough win. But there was a couple of moments where I was sweating a little bit like, oh shit, is he going to break for us now? Is he going to turtle up and go down? Panic wrestled a little. Worked here against a guy in Slava that, man, he just doesn't have good grappling defense. Better than before, I guess you could say, getting up to his feet and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to keep talking about this fight. Good win for Camilo. He pulled through. He was Lock City parlay piece number one, but underwhelmed as far as how he did it. Basinger Susurkaev, Eric McConico. There was a lot of naysayers in the chat after the first round. A lot of shit talk. Basinger Susurkaev is young, okay? He's still very much a developing prospect. Manages to get a nice knockout in the third round, clean straight shot that put McConico away. Well timed. And I think that's pretty impressive to flatline a guy like McConico like that. But yeah, it wasn't an amazing display of skill in all areas. He didn't look like a grappling phenom or, just an excellent, crisp, and perfect striker. But he showed good stand-up, and he had good combinations, and he had a couple of good takedowns, and he had some moments on the ground. Of course, McConico looks strong. I'm under the impression that Susurkaev might be better suited for 170 pounds. He's pretty tall at 6'2", but he doesn't have much muscle on his frame, and I feel like some of these stronger middleweights could give him some trouble without working him on the inside. At the end of the day, Basinger Susurkaev was able to flatline Eric McConico in round number 3. It was not a blow your fucking dick off performance. Oh my God. McConico had some moments in the boxing, and it's like the Susurkaev hype it's wild how it happened from his Contender Series fight here. UFC debut here. Second UFC appearance. I feel like it's just dropping, but he's 24. So we can put him under a harsh critique. He's not expected to be like a Michael Morales, by 26. He's already an elite contender. I think he needs some time to develop. I believe he got into MMA later, too. It's not like he came from like a childhood martial arts background. You guys got to also remember that. I'm pretty sure he picked it up later. I remember hearing that after his Contender Series fight. So, something to note as well. Still putting some puzzle pieces together, but definitely a talented guy with really long limbs and some power in his hands. Definitely some good teeps to the body. He showed it on Contender. Not as much damage in this one here from teeps to the body, but like he's got good distance striking. So Susurkaev's all right. McConico, I mean, he'll hold on to a roster spot probably because what is he, 1 and 2 in the UFC now? It's not like he's lost back to back. They'll probably keep him around for 1 or 2 more. I don't know who the hell Susurkaev's going to get next. I mean, they got to go the route of taking, I don't want to say taking it easy on him because I don't want to push a narrative where I'm like, yeah, he's not able to beat anybody. No, but like we have to match him properly. We have to match him properly. You can't give him tough matchups. I mean, somebody like Ozzy Diaz would make a lot of sense for him next. Maybe the Jordan Santos, who Ozzy Diaz has a win against. Somebody like that would probably be the level for a Susurkaev. I wouldn't even hate if they gave him Cedric Dumas, who's coming off back-to-back losses. Let's just, give him time to marinate, slow build the prospect. Let's not rush him up the ranks too fast, because I could see him struggling with some of the more physically imposing guys. Like, I wonder how he would fare with like a Dante Johnson even. Dante Johnson has some good physicality, strong wrestling, good power in his hands, Maybe a Dushko Todorovic, he'd be slicking them, but Todorovic got 10 UFC fights, so I don't know. I like the Jordan Santos, Ozzy Diaz, or Cedric Dumas. Something along those lines next. Nothing, nothing too skillful for him after this one. But good win. Nice knockout at the end. Good that he, finished it off strong with the knockout. A decision wouldn't have been great. Angela Hill, Fatima Kline. Fatima Kline looked pretty sharp in this fight. I am confused by a 29-28. I don't know how the fuck. What round do you give Angela Hill? Can anybody tell me what the hell? 29-28. Fatima Kline out kickboxed her, out wrestled her, and beat her up for a vast majority of the fight and shot hard for the win. I mean, hit Angela Hill with a back fist at the end of the fight from the ground and then into a head kick that rocked Angela at the very end of the fight and was throwing big ground and pound shots to finish out. Fatima Kline really wanted to stop Angela Hill. Everybody wants to stop Angela Hill. She's incredibly durable. She has a good chin. She has good submission defense. She's 18-16, which is a really ugly record, but there is a ton of high-level fights on that resume. Angela has been around forever, and she's always been amongst the better girls in the world. She's a top 15 threat still right now. Even though she lost this one, I'm sure she can still, these unranked girls will get worked by her. The reason her record sucks is because, they always give her tough competition. Prospects like Fatima Kline and Lucindo and even Ketlin Souza in the fight before that, and she won that one. I think Fatima Kline's a blue chip prospect, though. Fatima Kline's pretty damn good. Fatima Kline's starting to really put it together. I was hype on her. She came into the UFC off the debut, and obviously it didn't go well as she took on a girl that was just too large for her in Jazz Davicius. And looking at the main event, straw weight's going up to 125. It ain't a good idea. She just beat Angela Hill, and now she's going to find herself in that top 10. It's tough to say where you go with her, mainly because I don't know what the matchmakers are going to want to do exactly, because I don't want to kill another prospect, If you look at the women's strawweight division and you look at, the number 15 girl in the world, it's Tisha Pennington, who just lost to Denise Gomes. If they were to do Denise Gomes versus Fatima Kline, that like kills somebody on the come up in the 20s, You could give her an aging vet. You could give her an Amanda Hebos. You could even give her a Jessica Andrade if they want to chance it. If they're really looking to give her that push up the ranks. One of those two matchups would make a lot of sense. She just beat the number 12 girl in the world. She should be ranked, around number 12, number 13. I really like the idea of seeing her out there against somebody like Hebos. I actually think the Hebos fight might be perfect. Don't know if Hebos' side would be crazy about it, but I think it's a solid idea. If not, Jessica Andrade on the horizon. I could see Fatima Kline getting a top 5 fight next year if she gets another win. Like, she's probably 2 to 3 fights away from mixing up for the world title. Especially Mackenzie Dern's division, If Mackenzie Dern's at the top of this weight class, I mean, it's kind of wide open, too. I think that Fatima Kline has the goods to make some waves at 115. I feel like I could see her becoming a champ. I really do. I think she could eventually become the champ. I look at the division and I look at the matchups. I look at other prospects. It'd be really fun to watch her fight somebody like a Lucindo. I think she would probably have a chance against a girl like Denise Gomes too. Yo, we might be looking at Fatima Kline title in 2027 if things worked out perfectly, maybe even 2026. But obviously, if Wei Li is in the weight class, that's where I don't think she fares nearly as well. For Angela Hill, I don't know. Run it back with Tisha Pennington. I'm moving on to the next fight. Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Mariscal. Listen, respect to Pat Sabatini. He was my pick Sunday, and then after the weigh-ins, I got stupid. I said, let's go Chepe. I'm wrong on the pick flip. The first time in a long time I've been wrong on a pick flip this year. It's been months. Is what it is. Pat Sabatini's back control is next level. His takedowns are fucking good. His control is unmatched. I mean, he was busted up in this fight. Chepe was able to catch him with that head kick in round one that cut him open. I gouged him a little bit. That fucked his eye up. Pat Sabatini was bleeding. Definitely more damage on his face than Chepe, but positional dominance, securing the key takedowns and key control moments and going out winning the fight and, staying alive on the feet for Sabatini, which I think is a big deal because he does have 3 KO losses. He's been flatlined by, Diego Lopez, Damon Jackson in the UFC. I really feel like, though, you have to look at what he's done as of late. 3 straight wins and wins over guys like Joe Anderson Brito, Jonathan Pierce, and now Chepe Mariscal. They're solid W's to have. He's definitely of the better featherweights. With that grappling style, if you're a striker in that division, he's a fucking tricky fight. I think he could potentially fight the winner of Melquizio Costa, Morgan Charrier, especially if it's the Melquizio Costa side. Or another fight that does jump out at me. It depends though. Are they in the side of, Pat Sabatini getting a real chance to break into top 15? Because if he does get a chance to break into top 15, I think he could potentially pick off Giga Chikadze. And with 3 straight wins, I feel like he could end up fighting somebody like Giga. Obviously, not the most entertaining, control-based wins instead. But I do think he could fight a Giga Chikadze and find success. If not Chikadze, like I said, somebody like Nathaniel Wood or a Melky Costa Charrier winner all makes sense. For Chepe Mariscal, I don't know, man. Let's do him versus Julian Erosa. Let's just have a good time with it. I'd like to see him versus Julian Erosa. I think that's a cool fight. Julian Erosa, longtime vet, was on a 3-fight win streak, coming off a loss recently. Always a tricky out. I'm intrigued by that matchup. I'd like to see that matchup. I'm interested in watching it. If not, I don't know, man. Nate the Train lost 2 in a row, but Nate the Train would be on the radar for a fight against Chepe. It's just, Nate the Train, 2 losses in a row. He's getting up there in age. He's not performing the same. Might not be, in his best interest to take that fight. So an Erosa fight might seem a little more viable for Chepe next. Who, even though he lost, he still always must see. He's entertaining as hell. Just Sabatini's control is out of this world. Kyle Daukaus, Gerald Meerschaert. This is a fucking joke, man. Kyle Daukaus with 1 shot to the chin. Meerschaert's rock bad, turtling up. Another shot over the top. Hits like the top of the dome. Bam, down goes Meerschaert into the Darce. Call it wraps. I called the club and sub. I said, yeah, I'm kind of thinking the Darce Knight wants to keep that nickname going and also choke out a guy known for good submissions in Meerschaert. And Daukaus did exactly that. I mean, he made it look easy. The fight was 50 seconds. His past 2 wins are both sub 1-minute finishes, which I think is pretty fucking impressive. And you look at the side of Kyle Daukaus just making it look easy against Michel Pereira and now Gerald Meerschaert. Shit, Kyle Daukaus is coming on strong now. Kyle Daukaus is good. I'm thinking about the division, and I'm thinking about where you rank Kyle Daukaus. He's closing in on the top 15. If he gets 1 more win, he could definitely get a top 15 shake. I like the idea of him fighting Edmund Shabazian. I like that matchup. Kickboxing of Shabazian is an interesting puzzle, but he will have a clear grappling advantage. Another avenue The Sultan Riziboyev. Could see that coming to fruition. Don't believe they've ever trained together. I know Riziboyev is linked up with the crew over in Philly, but Doc is from a different Philly crew. I kind of like the idea of that too. I think those are two real possible fights for him next. The Sultan Riziboyev fight is interesting. Riziboyev on a 2-fight winning streak, and he's looked very good at 185 pounds. I mean, Riziboyev's 4-0 in the UFC at 185. The only loss is to Buckley at 170. I'm intrigued by a matchup between him and Riziboyev for sure. But there is a possibility that Edmund Shabazian fight makes sense too. I think he's about one away from a top 15 chance. He goes out and finishes somebody else. It's going to be hard to deny him a shot. And when I look at the top 15, though, it's Killer's Row, Joe Pyfer. Marvin Vittori's a hard match. Paulo Costa, like Roman Dolidze, who broke his fucking face several years ago. Doc is definitely going to need another one before he breaks into the ranks. But I do have to say, things are pushing in the right direction for Kyle Daukaus. I like what I've seen on the UFC return. Way better than the first run. GM3. We just do a grappling match with Paul Craig is the fight that I think should be next. Paul Craig grappling match for GM3 is exactly what should happen. I think that would be the fight to make. If not, though, I think you could give Michel Pereira, who's lost 3 straight fights. But, bro, GM3 has lost 4 straight fights. It's looked terrible lately for GM3. I mean, he's got a shitload of experience, nearly 60 pro fights. There comes a time where we got to start recognizing motherfucker's washed, bro. GM3 is washed, okay? That's the God honest truth. And I'd like to see him grapple with Paul Craig at like a Craig Jones Invitational or something like that. They should do that. Do the Paul Craig fucking grappling match. I don't even care to see him get punched in the face anymore. I want to see them grapple. They should do that. That's my vote. Next fight, Malcolm Wellmaker, Ethyn Ewing, the fraud check of the night. I don't think it was so much of a fraud check. It's actually Ethyn Ewing was a real prospect who was completely underrated, and Malcolm Wellmaker, a decent prospect, but very overrated because of some sick knockouts and big power. Ethyn Ewing can box, though. My brother brought it to my attention earlier today. He's like, yo, Ethyn Ewing does a lot of sparring and boxing. I seen it on his Instagram. Ethyn Ewing's got hands, and his boxing proficiency was really what got him the win in this fight. He can mix it up on the feet with Wellmaker, who looks for, one big shot. But Ewing was more slick with combination shots. It's a wow moment, okay? To enter the UFC and beat a guy in Malcolm Wellmaker who had not a little bit of hype, who had a ton of fucking hype. Malcolm Wellmaker was a popular guy. Malcolm Wellmaker seemed destined to make a run into that top 15. And for Ethyn Ewing to go out and handle him like that, that's some big deal shit. That's some big deal shit for Ethyn Ewing. Making a next matchup for him, I have no fucking idea. Hard to say. I don't know what direction they push him down. I mean, he just beat their prospect on the come up. It depends. Like, what direction are they going to push? I mean, Bernardo Sopai versus Ethyn Ewing, another good prospect they could give him. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Malcolm Wellmaker. They could give him like a Toshiomi Kazuma. Make it chill. Like, all right, Wellmaker, let's build your Gaston Bolaños, Look to give him a chance to really get back on track. Ethyn Ewing was real shit. Elijah Smith, another good prospect, 2-0 in the UFC. Elijah Smith, Ethyn Ewing would make sense. If they're looking, to put him in a position where maybe he is the prospect killer, those are the fights. Unfortunate for Wellmaker. I think he'll be back. I still like the Series City fight, but it's just coming off the loss. I think it's less likely he gets that type of fight now. It would be more sensible, a Gaston Bolaños. But then Bolaños' kickboxing is legit, though. His weakness is the grappling. Wellmaker would have to show us more wrinkles in his ground game. Right? They might not do that. They might, maybe Quang Bang Lee, who's coming off a bad knockout loss to Santiago Luna. Yeah, definitely an interesting spot, man. I feel like Wellmaker, he's got so much hype. Took on a guy who's coming in on 2 days' notice. And obviously there's a disadvantage for being on 2 days' notice. But Also a disadvantage for Wellmaker, not knowing that much of what to expect and adapting, what was a full or not a full, but a partial training camp for Cody Haddon. It went from City to Haddon to Ewing, three different opponents, and it ended up going awry at the end of it all. Unfortunate for Wellmaker. Had a lot of hype, but the hype's dwindled a bit, but not all hope is lost. He could get back on track. He definitely could win his next fight. I think he could fuck up, plenty of guys. It's just Ethyn Ewing is deceptively good. Ethyn Ewing's also on a 9-fight win streak too. Like you look at his record, you say, "Oh, well, he's 9-2." Bro, he lost his first 2 pro fights. There's an element to that shows me he's a fucking dog. Wellmaker hadn't dealt with adversity before. He didn't have a loss ever as a pro. Ewing has already had to come back from that. So I think there's that element of maturity that comes with losing fights. Maybe they say, hey, Surrey City versus Ewing. He just replaces it. Or maybe they do Cody Haddon versus Ewing. I'm fucking hyped to see what's next for Ethyn Ewing. He blew me away. For Malcolm Wellmaker, it's just got to be some type of matchup where I feel like it's favorable towards him. I have no idea, man. Matchmaking, good luck to the matchmakers on this one. Because I'm assuming they still want to, try and give Wellmaker, I don't want to say a favorable matchup, but they're not going to be like, okay, well, Wellmaker, you lost this one, so we're going to give you Bernardo Sopai, a nasty prospect on the come up, Their directional pull will probably be towards a guy that looks beatable for him. So that makes more sense. Good win for Ewing. Big upset, big underdog, underrated for sure. And he showed out. Respect to Ethyn Ewing. Badass performance. Patrick Ewing did his thing at MSG as a New York Knick. Ethyn Ewing, too, following the footsteps of the great. The Ewing legacy, as far as name goes, in that arena, impressive. Erin Blanchfield chokes out Tracy Cortez. It felt like the game plan was for her to strike with Cortez enough to make Cortez overthrow some volume and start to gas herself out, which she kind of did. And then Cortez tried to grapple with Blanchfield. She got her down. And then Blanchfield gets the reversal. They end up back up to the feet. Then Blanchfield into the trip and then into the choke. Tracy Cortez, she got choked out in the transition of position. There was no hooks in. It's not like, Blanchfield had perfect control positions with hooks in or a body triangle. And they got this choke. She got it in transition. And Tracy Cortez, quick tap. How can I put this? It's a tight choke, but there's an argument she could have fought out if she had more oomph left in her. Tracy Cortez was starting to get pieced up a little bit. She'd been punched hard in the face. The nose getting a little beaten down. Her gas tank was dwindling. She was starting to break. And Blanchfield had a tired Cortez. When you're tired, everything hurts more. When you're tired, it's like, fuck this. Give me the fucking tap. I'm out. And that's exactly what happened. Erin Blanchfield, she's definitely a problem at 125 pounds. Her style is relentless. She's not the slickest striker. She doesn't need to be. Not even the best wrestler, right? But she's a pretty good wrestler. She's a break you style. She's going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And eventually you are going to wilt to the relentless style of pressure. She's coming off massive wins. Was able to beat high level Rose Namajunas. Now beats Tracy Cortez, who was ranked, a bit farther down. It's annoying because Maycee Barber is scheduled to fight Corinne Silva. I really think the winner of that fight will be next for Erin Blanchfield. With Natalia Silva close to a title fight, Manon Fiorot already having the fight against Blanchfield, kind of, I feel, unlikely we see a Manon Fiorot rematch. And I also feel like it's not that likely that Erin Blanchfield fights against an Alexa Grasso. I kind of think that this Maycee Barber Corinne Silva winner would be likely the front runner for an Erin Blanchfield fight. And then if Blanchfield goes out and wins another one, she's going to be hard to deny as far as a world title shot goes with 3 straight wins. But I do think she needs one more. I don't have interest in a rematch with Manon Fiorot. I would like to see Manon Fiorot maybe versus Natalia Silva. If Shevchenko is going to move up, that could be for the vacant title. If she decides, hey, I want to go up to women's bantamweight and fight against Kayla Harrison. For Tracy Cortez, I don't know, the loser of Maycee Barber, Corinne Silva is kind of perfect. She's definitely got game. She can mix it up with some hands and she can wrestle, but she got outdogged. Erin Blanchfield is the queen of outdogging people, and she lived up to that style. Good W for her. Next fight on the card, Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodrigues. This was good work for Gregory Rodrigues. A more patient Gregory Rodrigues landed big shots throughout the fight, landed 90 significant shots and 59 to the head, threw some big shots to the body and head. Nice straight punches, walking Kopylov down. He was taken down twice, which is interesting, right? Because he was shooting takedowns on Kopylov, but nothing there. More so to shoot to then set up punches. Kopylov couldn't deal with Rodrigues keeping him on the back foot and then just catching him with big shots. Kopylov landed one nice straight shot to the temple that had Rodrigues a little bit buckled for a second. I believe it was round two. Maybe it was round three. No, I think it was round three. But nothing after that. No follow-up, And then Rodrigues was busting him up, broke Kopylov's nose, was piecing him up with bigger punches. With the threat of the takedown, had Kopylov thinking a lot. That's like what I noticed. I feel like Kopylov was thinking too much, and Rodrigues was able to just outwork him and handle. I have to say, more patient RoboCop is good to see. Because what cost him in, his last venture into the rankings against Cannonier was the gas tank. Now we got a RoboCop that's climbed his way back into that talk with 2 straight wins. I look at the top 15 and I think to myself, it's hard not to want him to fight in the top 15 because of the fucking style. It's tremendous. RoboCop is like must-see TV. And I feel like he's already been in a UFC main event. And he did it against Cannonier and dropped him multiple times. So what are we going to do? Him and Ikram? Does him and Ikram really make sense? That could happen. But I'm thinking Gregory Rodrigues versus Joe Pyfer could be a really interesting fight. I like the idea of Pyfer's power versus RoboCop's. Arguably, I'd say that Pyfer would have a bit of the edge in hand speed and probably a little more of a chin. He hasn't fought a puncher like Rodrigues, and then we get to see the chin of, Rodrigues put to the test. Pyfer could maybe try and mix in grappling. He is a pretty deceptively good grappler. I like this RoboCop Joe Pyfer fight. I need to see RoboCop Joe Pyfer. It seems just like near guaranteed fireworks. Now, it could also be RoboCop Paulo Costa, but something tells me that fight probably isn't happening. I don't know. It just doesn't feel likely that Paulo Costa and RoboCop fight. If they made it, it would definitely be fucking dope. An all Brazil battle. Maybe they do it in Brazil next year. I'm down. But the Joe Pyfer fight just stands out to me more. Roman Kopylov. Listen, Roman Kopylov's pretty good. Roman Kopylov has good skills. Roman Kopylov is still amongst the better middleweights in the world. I like the idea of Roman Kopylov mixing it up with somebody like Abus Magomedov. Could threaten him in the grappling a bit, but as a susceptible gas tank, I think Kopylov could be live to break the 2-fight losing streak against somebody like Abus. I don't think Kopylov ever breaks into the top 15 again, but I do think Kopylov can pick off, some of these lesser top 20, top 25 guys, and will always be a notable challenge for anybody on the come up and things of that magnitude. I definitely like Kopylov's style. It's just certain guys just give him trouble with pressure. We saw it against Costa. We saw it again here. Pressure strikers with big power, specifically big jacked Brazilians, they just tend to terrify Kopylov, man. And he got completely shut down. Big win for RoboCop. Next fight, Bo Nickal, Rodolfo Vieira. This was Bo Nickal's breakout win. And he knocked Rodolfo Vieira out with a fucking high kick. It was sensational in round 3, but what led up to that was good work as well. Round number 1 with the big slam into some ground and pound, into some strikes against the cage, cutting Rodolfo Vieira. Good long jab and good punch combinations, outboxing Vieira, showing a clear speed advantage, looking way better at striking, not really getting hit clean at all. There was 7 head strikes from Rodolfo Vieira, easily stuffing Rodolfo Vieira's trips against the cage. Obviously, he's going to stuff his takedowns, but even the trips against the cage had nothing. Bo Nickal beat Rodolfo Vieira up and looked like he was en route to, a cruise-worthy decision until peppering out that left hand into the head kick. My God. Or excuse me, peppering out that right hand into the head kick from the southpaw stance. Bo Nickal looked fucking slick. It was reminiscent of Usman Leon Edwards. Had Rodolfo Biting at that lead hand, reaching the hand out too far. Bam! Left high kick. Down goes Rodolfo Vieira. Sensational knockout. Probably a knockout of the night. I don't know. We'll have to check at the end. And Bo Nickal's back. Bo Nickal's back in a big way. Bo Nickal's putting some respect on his damn name again. Bo Nickal, I'm telling you, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I'd like to see him tested against Ikram Aliskerov. I know earlier on they were terrified of the Ikram fight. But I think Bo Nickal could give Ikram some challenge, man. I would love to see that. I think he could beat a guy. Like I think he'd beat Chara Bullet. There's a lot of guys he beat. I don't know. With matchmaking for Bo Nickal, Ikram Aliskerov is the fight that makes sense to me. My brain, if I'm the UFC matchmaker, is like, okay, let's go Dagestan wrestling versus USA. That's a big fight to be made. Especially if they want to wait to the White House, do it at the White House. And I think Bo Nickal reps American wrestling and beats Ikram Aliskerov. But I don't know if they're nervous to set it up, And they're like, oh, no. What are we going to do? Him versus Edmund Shabazian? If he fights Edmund Shabazian, he should smash Edmund Shabazian. Guys that I think he'd have trouble with, like Christian Leroy Duncan, though. Leroy Duncan's a tricky fight for him. That distance striking, sharp danger. If Bo Nickal's stuck kickboxing with Leroy Duncan, he's in a lot of trouble if he can't control on the ground. I don't know if that fight would be likely to come to be. I think Ikram Aliskerov is it. Stop trying to protect Bo Nickal. Rodolfo Vieira, all right, he passed the test. All right, so what? Are we going to, all right, you want to just fucking give him, what are we going to do? You want to run it back with Cody Brundage? You want to give him Zach Reese next? At this point, let's give him fucking Jackson McVeigh. Oh, and better yet, let's give him Gerald Meerschaert. You're going to have to test them. It's just how this game goes. They can't spend all their time trying to protect them. I would much prefer to see him in a fight. Bo Nickal, Kelvin Gastelum, if they want to do something like that. I could see him out wrestling Gastelum. Like, I don't think there's any more time to protect Bo Nickal. I think let's find out. I want the Ikram Aliskerov fight. I will push for that. His only loss for Bo Nickal is Renier de Ridder, who's a top, 7 contender. Rodolfo Vieira, at the end of the day, it's Rodolfo Vieira. You should probably, fight. I don't know. You want to give him Brad Tavares? Fuck it. I don't care. I want to talk about Bo Nickal. And I think Bo Nickal could do good against Ikram Aliskerov. I don't think the UFC, I don't know. I feel like there's like this fear, like babying Bo Nickal. Oh my God, Renier de Ridder oh no, it's over. No, he's a fighter now. The next fight is his 10th pro fight. Maybe it's too soon against Ikram. Maybe not, though. They want to keep building him? Fuck it. By all means, give him whoever the hell they want. But I want to see him versus Ikram eventually. It needs to happen. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bo Nickal. Enough of this shit, man. Enough of this shit. Okay? Look at the logo. Look at the head kick. The logo actually predicted this head kick. The channel logo predicted the head kick many moons ago. I foresee a red-headed ginger knocking out a big jacked Brazilian. Good call from my end on the Bo Nickal chasing the knockout side. And it came to fruition. I was happy to see it. I think Bo Nickal has shown evolution, looking the best shape of his life, on point with aggressiveness. I was very impressed. I like Bo Nickal. I'm on the pro Bo side. There's a lot of Bo Nickal haters out there. Not me. I'm rooting for Bo. I want to see him put it together. I want to see him represent American wrestling against Ikram Aliskerov. That's a dream scenario for me, and I hope that comes to be. Let's get to the main card. It was too easy. Benoit Saint Denis destroys Beneil Dariush. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is game, set, match. Bang, bang, shots over. Like, one shot, boom, down goes Dariush. I said it. I think the Dariush chin is gone. And it's gone. And it's gone. Dariush can grapple all night. But, bro, you're getting dropped against Moicano. BSD landed one big shot over the top in the clinch and close. Bam. It's like, it's done. There's no fight. There's no conversation. It's over. A nice leg kick from Dariush early. He attacked the legs well, landed a couple of them, and then done. You get on the inside, bam. Out goes Beneil Dariush. Benoit Saint Denis was the second leg of Lock City Parlay, so it came through beautifully. I'm very happy about it. Benoit Saint Denis is a fucking terrifying pressure fighter. But, I'm going to keep it honest with you. Don't be twisted and thinking he's putting everybody away because he knocked out Chinny Dariush like that. I'm telling you, bro, Dariush cannot take a shot anymore. Lucky he didn't take too many hits against Money Moicano, and it was a grappling heavy fight. So we see BSD go out and destroy Mauricio Rufy. Now he just destroyed Benny Dariush, ranked number 9. He's starting to mix it up with the top guys. And I have a perfect fight for him. The perfect fight for Benoit Saint Denis is Rafael Fiziev. Easy. Rafael Fiziev versus Benoit Saint Denis is a fucking masterpiece. Fiziev's nasty on the feet. Slick stand-up. Saint Denis, durable as fuck and relentless with pressure. And has a bit of a wrestling advantage in the fight. I love that matchup. I hope that the UFC considers putting that together. Because right now, BSD is absolutely on fire, and the Fiziev fight jumps out to me. Yes, Dariush was ranked 1 ahead. But just because BSD took out Shinny Dariush at this point, I don't think you jump him up to a fight against somebody like, I don't know, Mateusz Gamrot even. I like the Fiziev fight way more. Who doesn't? That's guaranteed fireworks, man. That could be a banger fight somewhere in Europe. Maybe in the middle of next year, maybe early next year. BSD got 16-second knockout. I mean, he's ready to go at any point. BSD, he's ready to go ASAP. He can stay ready. Any good lightweight fights on the horizon that he could jump into? Not really. No, nothing ranked like above him. I'm looking at the lightweights that are scheduled for fight. Obviously, Dan Hooker and Sarukian, but he's not going to get that. Outside of that, nobody else is scheduled for fights. The Fiziev fight is the one. That's the fight to be had. I want to see that fight really bad. And if he can pass the Fiziev test, I really think we start talking about Benoit Saint Denis in the Trek. He said he wants BMF belt. That's the belt he's focused on first, and I respect that about him. He's on track to be fighting for a BMF belt. 29 years old, new coach. It's coming together well. Now, I want to talk about Benny Dariush. There comes a time where a man should hang the gloves up. There does. There comes a time when he should. He should. I really think he should consider hanging them up. I don't know if he will. There's still fights for him. But it feels like to me he should hang it up. I mean, him versus Michael Chandler, I guess. That could be a fight to be made. I think that could be a fun matchup too. But Chandler, I could see him fighting like a Money Moicano and them going that route instead. What does Benil really need to do? I don't know. They might keep him around. He might do another one. He's in the top 15 still, regardless of this unfortunate outcome. But I just don't love it, man. Don't at all. He'll probably be ranked like 12 or 13. I think a Chandler fight would make sense, though. But again, Chandler's got big power. That could be a matchup where you see his light shut off again. I'm excited for what's next for BSD, though. Fucking hell. 3 in a row, and each one gets more impressive. Kudos, Benoit Saint Denis. You look damn good. Next fight. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. Listen, like the first fight on the main card, just like I predicted with this one. Prates was live to catch him with a straight left. Southpaw versus southpaw battle. Competitive striking in round number 1. Prates landed bigger shots, but Edwards eventually getting him down, taking his back, threatening with the back control even when they're standing up, holding that back position, trying to lock in a rear naked choke at the end of the round. But Prates was defensively sound also as well. Round number 2 kicks off, and Prates keeping Leon on the back foot and keeping him going backwards. Man going backwards, not a man likely to succeed at wrestling. Prates catches him with the beam of a left hand. They were talking some shit back and forth throughout round number 1, and there were some smiles at the end of round 1 between the two as they dapped it up to close out the round. There was also a smile as Prates catches Leon with the perfect straight left and drops him straight back. Leon is smiling like he's a kid on Christmas morning, waking up realizing he has presents under the tree. Okay? Cheery smile as Prates stands over him, boom, punches him in the face, and he's just flat out, and the smile starts to go. That was a spectacle. That was a fucking meme. The smiling KO loss. Yeah, Leon got cracked. Prates landed a beautiful straight shot. The Prates power is fucking scary. Prates cracks like very few guys. Like, he's legitimately terrifying with his punch power. And he's calling for a world title fight after. I don't think it's likely that he fights for the belt next. I think that Prates is at least one away because, you know, we can't act like the Ian Gary fight didn't happen, right? The Ian Gary fight went down not long ago, and Ian Gary was able to get to him, but he knocked out the number 4 guy in Leon Edwards, and now Ian Gary fighting against the number 1 guy, Bilal Muhammad. So some movement expected in that weight class. There's a matchup to be had for him, and we'll talk about the matchup for Prates a little bit later. For Leon Edwards, and tough loss. I'll be honest with you. If Masvidal comes back, I think now would be the time to do a Masvidal-Edwards fight. Regardless of the rankings, I think with the beef that the two had from years ago, I like to see them settle it inside of the octagon, and I think it would be a pretty sellable fight, especially if they did it on the White House card. You got UK versus USA. I don't know. I like the England versus America matchup with that, and I think it'd be a really cool fight to do as well. If not that, though, I don't know for him, man. 3 straight losses, it's tough for me to even consider. Like, you look at prospects, I don't want to bone him. Wouldn't be the fight that would jump out to me. Using him again as an opponent? Would it be like a Jeff Neal maybe? Down the ranks to bring him back? That's why I'm saying, like, the Masvidal fight is the fight to be had. That's the fight to make. Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal is a fight that I like. I hope that that one gets put together. I would really like to see that fight happen. I think Leon, he's in the final phase of his fighting career. And even though he's only 2 years older than Prates, long UFC run. Whereas Prates bursting on the scene more recently and looking damn good. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm excited for Carlos Prates. We'll talk about a fight for Prates after this next breakdown. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales in the featured fight. Told you guys, I thought Morales was knocking him out, and I said probably first round. Sean Brady, if he can't get to him and get on top, he is fucked on the feet. And by God, he was fucked on the feet. Sean Brady was buckled with almost every clean shot that Morales was throwing. He's getting stung up by long jabs. Michael Morales is a huge huge welterweight. He looks like a light heavyweight. That's why I said lightweight. He's ginormous. Distance jab is crazy. Long ass reach. They were hyping up Prates' 78-inch reach, where Morales got a 79-inch reach. Hips are far back in his striking stance. Comes from a wrestling background. Michael Morales is a terrifying 26-year-old. 19-0. Holy shit. Absolutely rock Sean Brady shit. It was levels on the feet. When Morales lands, it's like thudding shots. It's not like it doesn't look the cleanest. It doesn't look like the most technical boxing you've ever seen. It's more like slick and deceptive. And it's precise, stiff jabs from range with like wonky big shots that follow and blitzing combos. The blitzing combos, I don't want to use the comparison Deontay Wilder, right? But there is an element of it that reminds me of that. But he is more precise with a stiff jab. And it's not like he's getting hit like Wilder is. Obviously, you know, Wilder's a boxer. This is MMA, so a bit of difference. But I don't know. I mean, Morales definitely has an unconventional stance and style to his flow. He has really good timing on his shots and legitimate knockout power. With every shot he lands, there's a lot of force behind it. And Sean Brady was hurt badly early in the round and then finished off badly with big punch combinations. Michael Morales blew the fucking roof off the place. Underdog call. I thought he would handle business, and he made it look easy against Sean Brady. And now I look at Michael Morales and I say to myself, I'm like, damn. He is an interesting threat for the world champion. We'll talk about that when we get to the main event because we got plenty of welterweights on the card. But the fight that probably comes together, both of these guys fought on this card. Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates could be a proper top contender fight for the weight class. Now, it could also be Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Morales. If Ian Machado Gary is to go out and beat Bilal, that would also be a really sensible fight, and a fight that I think many would be interested in. I'd be intrigued to see Michael Morales and Ian Gary. If it's not the Prates fight, that could still happen. And Prates could end up fighting somebody else. I mean, we could maybe even see Prates fight, Jack Della, who lost in the main, but we'll talk about that later. I do like Michael Morales versus Prates as a first option, but with a high stakes welterweight fight next weekend, potentially Michael Morales versus Ian Gary. But then there's the argument, if Ian Gary wins, he could be next in line for the world title. We'll talk about it when we get to the damn main event, and obviously beyond that into next week. I want to talk about Sean Brady for a second because he was on fire, number 2 in the weight class, running through Leon Edwards. My God, Sean Brady's a monster on the ground. But if he can't get you there, it falls apart. And he's badly knocked out here. I still think Sean Brady is a very good welterweight. Most guys ain't Michael Morales. Unfortunately, he's just in a weird spot. The only fight that really makes sense for Brady next, and you guys might say I'm nuts, but correct me if you think I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. I'm thinking we could potentially see Sean Brady versus Gabriel Bonfim next, fighting way down the rankings. Again, maybe Buckley versus Brady, which I'd like to watch that. But Buckley, scintillating striking style, big power in his hands, lost to Usman, obviously, but Buckley, I don't know. Buckley's in a weird spot. He could maybe even somehow squeeze his way into a Prates or Morales fight, just with the style that he has. It's a strange case for Sean Brady. So I'm really like, damn, bro, it might be Bonfim. Obviously, I like Bonfim versus Colby, but I think Colby's going to duck the fuck out of that fight. Sean Brady is incredible when they go to the ground, but they gave him Michael Morales. It wasn't meant to go well. Michael Morales, he's been compared to like Anderson Silva and shit since Contender Series. I don't know if you guys watched it live. I did. And the hype on him from Contender Series was crazy. Coming into the UFC, he has certainly not only lived up to the hype, he has exceeded, I think, early expectations. Earlier UFC fights, he looked more competitive with people. He looks like a fucking destroyer of worlds now. Michael Morales very well might be the next UFC welterweight champ. But we will get to that as we talk the main event. For Brady, though, I think Bonfim, I mean, if they want to have him beat up Colby Covington, that's cool with me too. But it could be Buckley, something along those lines. I don't know, Bilal rematch. If Bilal loses next week, it just doesn't really make sense. We'll see how the UFC brings it together, but I'm definitely excited. Michael Morales boxing is just crazy. His stand-up's insane. The reach, the long jab, the combinations, the strike speed. It's different. It's different. It's world-class. And he's a special fighter, man. Fucking looks like a damn light heavyweight. Co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko. This was why weight classes exist. Weili Zhang moved up to 125. I thought maybe with some improvements in physical strength and physicality and her speed would be able to make it competitive, but like it wasn't even a fight. This looked like a big sister, little sister beatdown. Weili got dominated positionally by Valentina Shevchenko. She got grinded out on the ground for a vast majority of the fight, got kickboxed up a bit, nice knee to the body in round 1. Good snapping body kicks. Weili was hurt to the body a few times throughout this fight. Shevchenko looked really sharp on the feet from mid-range, from close range, from any range. Good jabs from the outside. Weili couldn't figure out how to close the gap and throw shots. She landed one nice elbow in the 3rd round. That's about the whole fight for Weili. Besides that, she was either on her back or just getting out kickboxed and then just missing with wide shots. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see, right? You wouldn't have thought Weili was such a dominant champ looking at the way that she got fucking handled here. Holy shit. Valentina Shevchenko is incredible. And she completely shut down Weili Zhang with a one-sided bullying beatdown. And after the fight, Joe Rogan goes to Valentina. Well, there's no one left to fight in the division. Do you still like? I'm like, what? What? Joe, Natalia Silva was in the fucking crowd. Natalia Silva is the challenger. She just beat Alexa Grasso. Natalia Silva versus Valentina Shevchenko. least there's, not the big size discrepancy, but seeing how Shevchenko is positionally dominant and willing to just grind out wins, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they go down. Now, this was not the most entertaining fight ever. It wasn't an awful fight. It was just technical dominance. Valentina Shevchenko was a level ahead. Weili had the durability to go on. She's not going to get knocked out. She's not going to get submitted, but she lost in all positions, whether it's striking positions and getting caught with shots or on the ground, stuck on her back. I mean, it was dominance from Valentina in the wrestling. 5 takedowns out of her 6 attempts. Weili Zhang had zero answer for anything Valentina Shevchenko did. And I think the only option for Valentina now is either Natalia Silva and stay at the weight class, which I like that option the best, because I think Natalia Silva poses a legitimately interesting puzzle. And the Brazilian women with some speed have given Valentina trouble, like Talia Santos several years ago. I think Natalia Silva could be the trickiest fight of Valentina's recent run, maybe of her entire career. I like that matchup a ton. There's also the option of Kayla Harrison up in weight, but I don't really give a fuck to see that. I don't know why Kayla Harrison in the Nunes fight has happened. Is Nunes bailing on it now? So now Valentina's got to go fucking move up to 135, a dead weight class for what? To try to shoot double champ status? But I'd rather see dominance. I don't care to see the Kayla Harrison fight. I would rather see Valentina Shevchenko continue to defend this title. But I do think there's a chance the UFC pushes her to go up, and then they do Natalia Silva, Mananfuro for a vacant title, which I don't really like. I would much rather see Valentina Shevchenko staying at this weight class and fighting Natalia Silva first, especially like when there's such an obvious number one contender. If there wasn't any contender that she hadn't beaten yet, and it's like, all right, whatever. Like with Weili Zhang, it's like, all right, let her go up. I guess with Islam, it's like, oh, there was Topuria, but he had yet to debut at the weight class. And Islam had been dominant, And it's almost like, let's save Topuria to like have this weight class continue to be, massive success and dominance as a champion, as opposed to like Islam beating him first and then he becomes the champ, I think Valentina Shevchenko versus Natalia Silva has to happen before a Kayla Harrison fight does. I prefer that. Natalia Silva should get her shake. I was disappointed Joe Rogan wasn't like, let me not mention anything, or let me mention, hey, Natalia Silva, like, what do you think? Not nobody's there. No, there's a fucking girl there, a girl who's incredible. Natalia Silva's incredible, guys. Let's talk about Weili Zhang for a second. Completely shut down. But you know what? This works out well. The women's strawweight division is dead without Weili. So let's just do Mackenzie Dern versus Weili Zhang whenever Weili wants. Weili said she's going to take a little break. Okay, let's give her a little break. I think the Tatiana Suarez fight versus Mackenzie Dern doesn't make sense. I don't know why Suarez is tied at number 1 ranking at strawweight with Weili. That makes no fucking sense. I don't understand the rankings. But Dern just beat Jandiroba. Dern's the champion. Whenever Weili is ready, I think Weili Zhang should go and fight Mackenzie Dern. Okay? I think that makes sense. Let's do that. Mackenzie Dern versus Weili Zhang. And let's run that as soon as Weili wants. If there has to be a fight in the interim, I guess, but I prefer not. Wait a few months, give Weili a little break. We're back down to 115, and she's very live. More than live. She's incredibly live. She's damn likely to go win her world title back and be at the top of the featherweight division still. Or featherweight, at the top of the strawweight division still. I think Weili Zhang is, masterclass at strawweight, but 125, a little too much. Now, if not going back down, there is one fight that I think is equivalent to the level of excitement to a world championship fight without a belt. Thug Rose, Weili Zhang 3. I'm down as fuck to see that. I would love to watch them run it again. Obviously, 2 wins against Weili Zhang. Rose Namajunas has. She's at 125 now. Obviously lost to Erin Blanchfield, but that's fine. Weili Zhang at 125 in a high-stakes 5-round fight versus the likes of Thug Rose, even if not for a title, still has a championship vibe around it. I got to be thinking, if you're Rose, why are you not cutting to 115 too? Weili Zhang versus fucking Thug Rose, but a title at 115 would be huge. I'd like to see Rose go back down. But I definitely am intrigued by a Weili Zhang Rose Namajunas trilogy, and that is something that I wouldn't put past the UFC to attempt to put together, especially for something like a White House card. The problem is I have no interest in watching a 3-round affair. It has to be a 5-round fight. Championship or not, that fight deserves 5 rounds, especially when their first 2 fights were scheduled for 5. A first-round knockout for Rose and a hard-fought decision. I would love to see them do it again. Big win for Valentina. Yeah, Natalia Silva next. Main event. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure you subscribe. Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev. This was the definition of positional dominance for Islam Makhachev. He controlled with wrestling, and every takedown that he fucking shot, Jack Della Maddalena was falling over. And Islam wasn't just taking him down. He was controlling masterfully and attempting to work towards submissions. Now, officially no submission attempts, but he was hunting towards submissions. Jack Della just had real solid submission defense. The work with Craig Jones paid off in one way. He didn't get submitted by Islam, but he was completely mauled on the ground, and he had no answer. There was no get-ups. Jack Della was on his back for substantial amounts of times throughout this fight. Nearly 20 minutes of control time. Four rounds in total of control time. Jack Della offered nothing from his back. When you look at the striking, Islam Makhachev actually caught Jack Della with a lot of nasty calf kicks, which kind of shut down Jack Della's ability to move. And Jack Della even got stung up with some good punches by Islam Makhachev. Islam looked sharp on the feet, even threatened with a high kick at one point throughout the fight. Obviously, Jack Della blocked it, but it was something he was then wary of. Islam Makhachev won all areas of this matchup against Jack Della Maddalena, completely shut him down on the ground. The threat of takedown had Jack Della fighting scared, terrified of being put on his back, but he was still put on his back regardless. He had no answer for Islam in any area. Early moments of the fight, him pushing Islam backwards and Jack Della looking to throw hard. I'm like, holy shit, Jack Della's going to do it. He's going to put pressure on Islam from the start, and he's going to sting him. And then just started to melt. The calf kicks broke him down. He was shut down completely. Jack Della was dominated. It was 5 rounds to 0. It wasn't a close fight. There was never a moment where you're like, oh my God, maybe Jack Della can do it. No. Islam was incredible with control. Islam looked like he doesn't get tired. Islam at 170 looked freakishly jacked. Did you see his traps? Islam looked like a fucking monster at 170 pounds. And it makes me think, oh my God, what the fuck was he doing to get down to 55? Because he looked not human at 170 pounds. The control and then not even showing a sign of fatigue. It was next level domination. It was skills in all areas. And it was just one-way traffic. And it was very comparable to Dricus du Plessis versus Hamza. But I think Islam's positional dominance was more impressive technically. Now, of course, this was not the most entertaining fight of all time. If you're looking from, the excitement of a violent fight perspective, and you're looking at the Prates Edwards fight or Morales Brady fight or BSD versus Benio Dariush or even Wellmaker versus Ewing, No, but this was elite level grappling skill and control from Makhachev, completely neutralizing a guy in Jack Della who was known for very good get-ups and known for effective boxing combinations. Now, if this is the first time you ever watched the fight for the UFC and this was the fight you're introduced to, yeah, maybe you're not crazy about seeing it next time. But when you look and appreciate it from a lens of technical skill, that was a fucking domination, okay? And it's impressive to see somebody shut down one in that way, especially a world champion. Now, of course, there can be pushback against the entertainment value of it. I understand from that side, but I promise you, it's not that Islam is necessarily going to be boring from here on out. There's been plenty of fun Islam Makhachev fights. It's because of Jack Della's elite level submission defense, right? There's also the element of Jack Della wasn't able to do anything to make it an entertaining fight, and Islam was dominating from top. Now, of course, there was complaints from Chael Sonnen. Did you see his post-fight? Chael Sonnen with a crazy take. Side control should be reviewed. They should consider standing fighters up from there. It's just too hard to watch. So he complained about not only the main event, but the co-main. That side control now should be a position to stand up from, because if you're just controlling inside control and nothing's happening, it's a stalling. It's a dominant position. Okay, getting to side control is a big deal. You're passing a fighter's guard, and you have to be able to stop it. Now we can go far to left field because there's certain fights that maybe aren't wow factor. So we're going to stand it up and force it to be a kickboxing fight, Islam Makhachev showed a different level of wrestling and top control, but also showed good stand up. The reason he had so much success is because of a calculated striking attack. He destroyed Jack Della's calf. And with that, limited Jack Della's movement, which made him a slower target and a lot easier to take down. And Jack Della just couldn't stop the takedowns. And he couldn't do anything from bottom position. The leg was beat up. He was grimacing the whole time. Islam's control was out of this world. If it's the first time watching the UFC and that's the fight you see, yeah, maybe you're not going to be crazy about tuning back in. But sometimes fights like that have to happen, and it's a one-way dominant performance from somebody like Islam. That doesn't mean it's a terrible fight. It's not a crazy, exciting, violent fight. It's a positionally sound fight with a skill set in the mixed martial arts of wrestling and grappling control that Islam absolutely laps the whole damn world in, really. I think Islam Makhachev is at this point just a different level. At 170, he looked better than ever before, and it's hard for me to envision really anybody beating him. But this is now where we have some fun. What is next for Islam? Something whispers to me. His old pal Kamaru Usman is next. Usman coming off the Buckley win. Usman with the grappling skill set and wrestling base to potentially keep the fight standing. How will that look on the feet? I think that Islam's faster. I think he strings shots together better than Kamaru Usman. I think he could hurt Usman on the feet. And it's a battle of legends. Former world champion Kamaru Usman versus current world champ, two-weight world champ Islam Makhachev. I think the UFC is going to push towards that fight. I know there was a lot of talk about the contenders on this card. Michael Morales, who looked fucking awesome. And he's in sick fight. He's an incredible fight for Islam at some point, but probably not next. Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates, bro. I love Carlos Prates' style. He's fucked against Islam. At least with Michael Morales, if he's stopping the takedowns, Morales' power in his hands. Morales seems to be the definition of the most difficult challenge for Islam. Like if I was to put together a video about everybody in a weight class's most difficult challenge, it would be, for me, I'm looking at Morales as the guy. Morales has the size. And if he has the grappling defense with that Ecuadorian wrestling base, the way he keeps his hips far away and works a fast jab, he could be the guy to end up shocking Islam Makhachev. Michael Morales, if he's able to beat Carlos Prates, and I think Islam would probably also have one fight in the interim, Michael Morales is a guy that stands tall for me as a potential threat to Islam, the most likely threat to Islam. And it's a fight I would love to watch. But there's something about that Usman fight. Usman was in the front row. The camera turned to him at the end. It's something about the Usman fight that seems like they're going to go down that route. Seems more likely they do Islam Makhachev versus Kamaru Usman than anything else. That's what I was thinking after the fight. I'm like, I think they're going Usman. I think that's the matchup that they're going to do. And I would love to watch it. I would. I'd be very intrigued. I think Islam will beat him. I think Islam will out-wrestle him. I think Islam will dominate him. I don't think anybody, maybe Michael Morales, outside of like Michael Morales, can give Islam this threat. I feel like Michael Morales really is the guy that I look at now. It's like, okay, this is a guy that could give Islam trouble. But I look at, the Sean Brady. Oh, well, Brady's grappling. Brady will get fucking knocked out by Islam on the feet, though. If I really break it down, if I go through the division, I mean, Bilal Muhammad and him will probably never fight. If they were to, I would favor Islam. I mean, we saw what Jack Della and Bilal looked like when we saw Islam. Not MMA math, but just reality of what they can do in different areas. Shavkat Rakhmonov, but he needs to fight. Where's Shavkat? He's been injured. Shavkat needs a fight. Shavkat, you can't just give him a title shot. He went to Twitter, oh, great performance, congrats, champ, but like, I am the real challenge. Well, you need a fight, Shavkat. Shavkat should do a fight first. Shavkat needs to fight somebody first. I don't think you can just give Shavkat the shot. Maybe Shavkat versus, Bilal. I don't know. Regardless of what happens next week, they finally booked that fight. I mean, I'm not opposed. I don't know with Shavkat. Shavkat, Joaquin Buckley. Like, I have no fucking idea where Shavkat's at. He needs to fight. As far as I'm concerned, he's inactive. So yeah, he's ranked number 3, but he's inactive. He hasn't fought. He didn't fight one time in 2025. We haven't seen Shavkat fight since he beat Wonder Boy, okay, in December 7th, 2024. A while ago, man. I beat Wonder Boy. Beat Ian Gary, December 7th, 2024. Wonder Boy. That was a while ago. That's a year ago when we get to 322, or rather 323. He's been out a year. He didn't fight this year. Obviously, Ian Gary's on fire. He's fighting below. Islam Makhachev versus Ian Garrett. I think Islam would maul him on the floor. I look at Michael Morales. I look at Kamaru Usman. Those are two more likely fights. Obviously, if Shavkat can get back in the mix, is anybody complaining about Shavkat versus Michael Morales? No, that'd be a sick fight. I'd love to see it. I just don't know with Shavkat. I think Shavkat Sean Brady could still happen, regardless of this weekend's outcome. Now, as far as Jack Della, I do want to talk about the former champion. Former champion deserves praise, and the former champion should fight against Joaquin Buckley. I like that matchup. Jack Della versus Joaquin Buckley is a dope fight still. I would love to see the striking clash between the two of them. And Buckley tends to use some wrestling sometimes, but it ain't no Islam Makhachev level. And we saw him handled by Kamaru Usman last time. I like the idea of Jack Della Maddalena versus Joaquin Buckley. I think that's a really high-stakes striking fight. It's going to be a lot of stand-up. I don't think we're going to see Buckley dominate on the ground. If guys are thinking that, oh, Islam did it, so now I'm going to go to the well and try to wrestle Jack Della, you're going to be surely disappointed as fuck when he stops all your goddamn takedowns, all right? Jack Della Maddalena, it's not that he can't wrestle, it's just Islam's different. And I'd like to see him versus Buckley. I think that makes sense. Obviously, an Ian Gary at some point would be really cool. I don't think it's going to be a Leon coming off 3 straight losses or a Brady coming off a really bad knockout loss to Morales. And then, you know, there's an argument, though. Jack Della versus Prates would be a sick fight. Who the fuck would complain about that? I wouldn't. I would love to see that. Remains to be seen. We'll see what the UFC decides next for Jack Della. Definitely fights on the horizon, but I'm interested. I'm very interested in Jack Della versus Buckley and Islam versus Michael Morales. But I think we got to get past something else first, and it's probably going to be Usman. Shavkat needs a return. He needs to fight somebody first. Elephant in the fucking room, though. Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is talking shit, okay? Ilia Topuria talks shit right away. I should probably just bring this tweet up. Let me go to Ilia Topuria's Twitter real quick. Ilia Topuria is funny as fuck. Ilia Topuria don't play. Let's see if it just comes up right away. No, it doesn't. Ilia Topuria. Bum, 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 bum. Jack needs an entire camp dedicated just to wrestling. What a disappointment of a champion. You should go to Georgia to learn something. Islam, you need something you can't train emotion. You're the most boring thing in this game. Every day I'm more certain I put you to sleep. Ilya taking his shit talk to a new level here. Holy fuck. Let's just bring that up on screen. Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that. Going to X talking his shit, man. I don't think it makes sense for the former featherweight champ and a former bantamweight at that to go up to 170 and fight against Islam with so many contenders. I don't know. What are they going to introduce? A catchweight fight, 163? I don't think that happens. I think there's too many possible matchups. Ilya, he's going to have to focus on his weight class. He's probably fighting Paddy Pimblett, and that's awesome. Or Justin Gaethje, and that's awesome. Focus on your dominance there. He runs through those guys. Maybe at some point, him and Islam link horns. And I think Topuria is a hell of a fight for Islam. But seeing him at 170, bro, I ain't picking Topuria at 170 versus Islam. 155 is different Islam. At 170, he doesn't get tired. Like, imagine Poirier fighting him here. He'd get fucking killed. Poirier put up a bit of a fight. Islam was killing himself to make the weight. Now he doesn't. He looked crazy. Sensational win for Islam Makhachev, who looks to have entered a God mode and is in absolute peak form and the best version of himself ever. I was blown away. Very happy. Very happy about what I saw from him, man. I really am. I feel like Islam. Now, you guys, I don't know if you saw this about Dillon Danis. Did you guys see what happened to him at the event? It was something out of a fucking comedy movie, man. Dillon Danis got jumped by Team Dagestan. Dillon Danis got fucked up at the event. Dillon Danis got his ass kicked at the event. Dillon Danis got his ass kicked by who? And Dana White said you'll never see him at a UFC fight ever again. Dillon Danis is now barred from all UFC events. If you guys have not seen this, it's sensational. I don't want to show it on here because I don't know, with the rules of a street fight. are when it comes down to MMA YouTube. But there's Dillon Danis. He got his ass kicked, bro. He got his ass kicked. He's on the ground. Some shots are getting rained down. See, that's Dillon Danis right there. You see Shevchenko punching him with shots? Dillon Danis, bang. Get into the next frame. Bam. Look at this shit. All the Dagestan was after him, bro. Not the best angle ever. But if you have not seen this, you are missing out on humor. You can see Shevchenko in the back. John Pork was pissed. Yeah, he ran out there. He got the hell out of there. He got cracked up a little bit. Not the best angle ever, but I just wanted to giggle at that. Danis takes it out. Dana said, you ain't never seen Danis at another UFC event. And it makes sense. Like, did he not think he was going to get fucked up if he ran into Team Dagestan? Or he was trying to do it to get in the known? Trying to make his Misfits fight against Anthony Taylor a bigger deal, bro. That's great, man. It's just humor, man. What a great day. What a great day. The Danis jumping really is the cherry on top for this fucking event. We had UFC 322, great championship level, and then we also had Dillon Danis getting jumped by Team Dagestan in the crowd, man. Oh, incredible. Incredible. I want to run through the picks. I went 10-4 on the predictions. Lost here, main event. Lost here, co-main event. But, perfect pick, Morales KO, perfect pick, Prates KO, perfect pick, and Lock City parlay piece, Benoit Saint Denis KO, Bo Nickal KO, perfect call, Gregory Rodrigues win, W call, Aaron Blanchfield win, and I mentioned the plus 500 sub, W call, loss with Ewing over Wellmaker, as everybody did, won with Daukaus, and I said he's probably going to go for sub, is what I said on the way, and show W there. Sabatini, I pick flipped the Chepe, stupid to me, but if I followed my Sunday picks, I'm 11-3, so, Sunday J on point. Fatima, Kline, W over Angela Hill, money call. Basinger, Susurkaev over McConico, money call. Matheus, Camilo over Borshchev, money call. Lock City parlay piece. Most confident picks, sweep the board. All 6 going out, handling business. Underdog call of Michael Morales and the knockout on the money. Things are great. And if you are, into the parlay sort of thing, as far as some of the numbers, all right? On the Savage parlay slate, we hit the plus 413 three-leg wonder of Camilo, Blanchfield, and Morales. We also hit the Savage, the SVG, plus 894, Morales, Daukaus, Blanchfield, Camilo, and Saint Denis, which I was pretty damn hyped about. And then on the safer side of things, the Safe City parlays did fantastic. Safe but boring, Susurkaev, Blanchfield, W. Safe prelim if you were doing something like that. You want an alternate to Lock City, Daukaus Camilo, plus 105. Saint Denis Prates, plus 125 if you wanted main card only. Saint Denis Blanchfield if you wanted an alternate to Lock City. Obviously, Camilo and Blanchfield, another alternate to Lock City. Saint Denis and Camilo at plus 141. The three-leg wonder, Saint Denis, Susurkaev, Blanchfield, W, plus 153. Same with the plus 160 alternate to it, Susurkaev, Blanchfield, Camilo, W, plus 214. Saint Denis, Daukaus, Camilo, Susurkaev, Blanchfield, Daukaus, Camilo, easy, plus 232. The big ones came through. Feels like a Lock City three-leg. Blanchfield, Camilo, Saint Denis, my three-leg Lock City came through as well. Plus 299 for the safer 4. Susurkaev, Camilo, Saint Denis, Blanchfield, and then the big 4-leg Savage mode, Blanchfield, Daukaus, Camilo, Saint Denis at plus 352, and so on and so forth. So as far as the parlay slate, fantastic work. As far as the confident calls, incredible. The Morales underdog call, sensational. And things are looking up. Things are looking good. Things been looking up. Undefeated throughout November with the Lock City. So I'm feeling like $1 million. We got UFC Qatar predictions that'll be dropping later today. Keep it locked in with your boy. We'll be covering it. Obviously, I'll be talking more about this card Monday during Moneyline, Monday during Lunchtime Live. I'll, keep going on. Going to sleep on the card now. It's 3 a.m, man. So your boy's going to get some rest and then keep on bringing the thunder. I love you all. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and don't forget to share the video. And the new thing is hype the video. So hype the video up. That's YouTube's new thing. Let me know in the comments what you thought of everything, what you think of the fights. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Main event. Dominance, but not a war. Not a violent, entertaining battle. Right? Same with the co-main event. Dominance, but not the violent entertainment that we thrive for because we seek the blood. But at least we got 3 sick KOs. Overall, it was a very good card. And at the top of it, it was championship level dominance. Okay? And it was history being made with 2-weight world champ Islam Makhachev. And on his trek to GOAT status, really. So overall, it was good things.
W in the comments, though, if you got nothing to say. I love you all. I will see you in the next one, all right? Good night, people. Peace out.